So Rosewood plus Dougie equals I grain times 2. J equals AX squared. B is the best bet.
Aidan Rodley, I'm not sure about Goodwill hunting Matthew Cross's calculations on the whiteboard there, but it's all about finding winners for him. You've been setting the standard, 4 best bets in a row, looking for 5. Can't wait to find some winners on the first call.
Yeah, good morning to you, Jason. Yeah, let's go hunting for winners in a less scientific way, eh? You're with the first call this morning.
Mongolian Conqueror, they hit it. I think Binder Dance for Mongolian Conqueror in the derby.
Here we've got Dijon Bleu right up against the inside, hitting the lead now from Blanco Bell. Milchian out wider with Pin-Up Cope and closer to the inside, Swiss Precision. But have a look at Dijon Bleu, killed them. That is big, bold, black and back, and coming in 7th, Group 1 heaven.
Bonneville at the 100. Bonneville up to Galo Chop. Bonneville takes Galo Chop, and Bonneville won again.
Yeah, things not going so well for me in the best bets competition. We'll talk about that a little later on, but these two gentlemen to my right-hand side, well, they're going okay. I've got about $11 left in the bank, and I've put together a multi for us this week to see how we get on, but nonetheless, we'll do our best. With IRT, welcome to the first call for the next hour. Looking forward to taking you through both of our meetings from both Awapuni and Te Rapa. Aidan Rodley, Jason Tan. Morning, Jason. How are you? You've got a bit of an odd look on your face.
I've got an odd look on my face. You've got an odd... What's doing with these?
I like them. They're doing it for me.
Yeah.
Have they got a slight tint to them as well?
Yeah, they do. They're short-sighted glasses. So
transition lenses?
Yeah, they're good. How's your week been?
Oh, it's been solid enough. Yeah, looking forward to this weekend. But, gee, last weekend we saw some highlights, didn't we? Like how good was Monarch Chimes, and the jumps racing from Hastings was brilliant. Plenty of highlights.
Yeah, he's a star, Monarch Chimes, and I'd like to see him now go to Australia. You know, there's a couple of really rich races that are beckoning him. He's obviously good enough. It's just great to see him just cruise up, and yeah, he's a star of our jumps racing at the moment. And is it Harry or is it Will? I'm not too sure. What are
No, it's Harry. Harry. Now, serious question though. Were you like me watching Monarch Chimes, just eyes glued to the horse the entire race, just waiting for him to push the go button?
Yeah, and you felt that Sean Phelan sort of had that. He raced a bit fresh, didn't he? But he had enough in reserve, and it certainly wasn't an easy beat field. There's some decent depth. There's decent depth to our hurdling ranks, but he did it rather effortlessly in the end.
Aidan will be talking Horse of the Year very shortly, obviously with the awards coming up and everything's all sorting to take place there, and it's time to get the chat started, I suppose.
Yeah, it sure is, with the finalists being named yesterday by New Zealand Thoroughbred Racing, so it's giving us a guide, and obviously the voting panel now have choices to go through. It's interesting, it's going to be a talking point in itself, the finalists, but obviously for us, we'll sort of put our sort of 2 cents in and maybe come up with, I think we're going to talk 2-year-old on social media today.
Yeah, so we've got some social media things coming up. Obviously, we're looking to add some things on social, and Jay-Tan, you'll be a big fan of that.
Oh, we'll have a little bit of a chat about the various categories. There's 2-year-old category, 3-year-old category, and the finalists were announced. Also a category that they brought back, the Sprinter Miler category. And then the champion middle distance and champion stayer, you know. So some really interesting finalists that we will discuss over time. But some of them I think are quite eyebrow raising. Some categories, like the 3-year-old category, has 6 horses in there and excludes a Group 1 winner of the 1,000 guineas, and has a halo, who was a brilliant winner of that race. Won by 4 lengths, beating home a horse that sits in the finalist category of Dijon Bleu. Now, obviously that's open for debate. I'm not saying that those horses should necessarily win it, but they're not in the discussion for finalists. And then the champion middle distance category, our 2 Group 1 winners of our 1,200 metre sprints of the Railway and the Telegraph aren't in there. And that's a contentious category in itself, because it brings together the most Group 1, or covers the most Group 1 races. The Stayers category covers 3 New Zealand Group 1 races. Okay, the Group 1 races in Australia that horses compete in are relevant as well for New Zealand trained horses. And then you've got the middle distance category, which holds 4. And then the remaining 13, even though I'm grouping the 2- and 3-year-olds, the distances fall in that middle distance category. So And there were only 4 nominated
That
for
is an
final. So
interesting
it's a
point.
really interesting
And especially
makeup.
that Stayers one now, because you talked about it being 3 against, you know, big numbers in the Sprinter Milo, but neither the Oaks winner or the Derby winner are named as finalists in that Stayers category. So really it's only the Auckland Cup winner as a Group 1 winner going into that category, which is a shame because last year they did put in 3-year-olds into that category and a 3-year-old actually won the category. So I think you just got to think about, you know, just giving voters options. And last year they did give the voters an option of a 3-year-old and they voted for the 3-year-old. So, yeah, who's to say that there wasn't a dominant...
At this juncture, I'm not necessarily arguing that, say, Volpe, Veloce or Enzo's Lad. I know you're not saying that, I'm not. That Volpe, Veloce or Enzo's Lad shouldn't be in the Sprinter or shouldn't win. I'm not saying that they should win or not, but I thought that they would be in the discussion as finalists. And then to the 3-year-old award where you've got 6 in there and you have omitted the 1,000 Guineas winner, who was as dominant a 1,000 Guineas winner as I can remember on margins. Okay, maybe the race won't end up rating that highly, but she still beat a finalist by 4 lengths. And it was a stunning win by Hazahalo. So that's not in the discussion now. So, you know, that's up to the people that put together the finalists. But
Can you take those glasses off?
I'm going to take them off. I'm not that blind.
It started with a question mark, but ultimately we're celebrating the horse, and it does need to come back to the fact that we're celebrating our best performances, and that's what the Horse of the Year awards are about. And I'm looking forward to highlighting some of those outstanding performances.
Yeah.
We've seen it. We've won Group 1s in Australia. Bonnevale won Group, Bonnevale very good, winning the Underwood. Avantage has been excellent as 2-year-olds. We've seen a very competitive bunch of 3-year-olds across the 1,600 up to the classic 2,400 metres. So there are some highlights to chat about and to reminisce and enjoy, I think.
Just going back to your point, so no Vin de Dance in Champion Stayer for the Derby, is that correct?
Yeah, it's tended to be, and I know it's been a bit of a bugbear of mine that the 3-year-old should be nominated, and maybe that they're not deserving out of it, but we saw Bonnevale in that category last year, and she didn't race against the older horses, and just as our 3-year-olds this year, like Savvy Cope, didn't race against the older horses, nor did Vin de Dance. So, but still, you give them the option, and then punters, then the voting panel can decide, well, we don't think Vin de Dance is worthy, or we do think he's worthy, but I think you just need to give them the option.
Yeah, the choice has already been made without sort of giving
He
a chance.
can't win Champion Stayer now.
Yeah, exactly. Bostonian was good over the weekend, as was Mega Blast.
Well, the Bostonian, as he races over there, Bostonian as we know him, 3 wins in a row in Australia, and capped off by this win in the Sunshine Coast Guineas. What a 3-race preparation he's had for Tony Pike. The Daybreak Lover, the Singapore Airlines Plate, and then winning the Sunshine Coast Guineas, and a good day for the New Zealand train runners because the Caloundra Cup was picked off as well by Nigel Tiley.
Yeah, it sure was, and great to see the Kiwis getting success over there. They've targeted those races, and yeah, well done to Nigel Tiley and to Tony Pike and the teams around them as well.
Fielded a few calls from some members of the Australian press and contacts as to the feeling that maybe the New Zealand, I guess, attack on the Queensland Carnival was not as potent as it's been in recent years. And it's an interesting question because I think our very best horses now are very much attracted by the 2 days of the championship. And if you're doing that, it's not so easy to necessarily target Queensland straight after with a view to the spring as well. But we capped off the back end there really nicely, and I know they're not the premier Group 1 races that we've been competitive in over there, but we've still gone over there and picked off some
There was
nice
also,
spoils.
I actually spoke to a few of the Australian members of the press, and that was probably the beginning of the carnival, and there was a question that was thrown, is the lack of having that second venue, Eagle Farm, putting off the Kiwi trainers from going? And definitely from some of the trainers that I spoke to, there was definitely that case. They weren't wanting to get to Doomben and be dominated by front runners on a track where there is definitely an advantage there.
And a very well-worn track, knowing that Eagle Farm was out of play, which is a lot more suitable for some of our horses, the bigger track there, and the high usage of Doomben. Gee, they've copped some heat racing Queensland about Eagle Farm being out of play and the amount of traffic that Doomben's had to cop. It sort of ended up coping okay, all things considered, but not an ideal situation when you're leaving New Zealand to try and get better tracks. And yeah.
Let's turn back time to last week and see how we got on. A couple of good results at Ruakaka. Marbles being one of those, Jason, a horse that probably raced against what we thought would be the pattern of being on speed and came from well back. It was a pretty decisive winner, but it wasn't the easiest days at Ruakaka.
There's some really top performances. I think Major Tom was an excellent performance. We saw Vinevale make it 2 in a row. She was very good. Ricky Tigitavi was a fraction unlucky, but Aidan, another big return for you and really building on that profit. Monarch Chimes, a star.
Yeah, well, that was where I built mine round. I think you were a little bit more across 3 or 4 different horses that won as well. And obviously, people who are maybe wanting to recap on that, they can get into the Punters Lounge, which is a really nice addition to the TAB website as well. I think we're getting full replays on that forum as well.
Yep, if you can't get the first call or trackside for that matter of free to wear, you can on tab.co.nz/Punters Lounge, and you'll find the first call up there on Friday afternoon. On we go now to look at our first meeting. We're heading to Awapuni, and we've got some nice races through from there. No jumps racing on Saturday, which is a bit against the norm as to what we've had the last few weeks. And at Awapuni, some really good races. We're going to start away with the Norwood Farm Machinery Centre Open Handicap, this one, featuring Rosewood, a horse that's open as the favourite, $2.40 Taurus. Under 60 kilos, he's 480. He'll be used to carrying the big weight. With 6 kilos on him is Platinum Command and Ringo at $6.50. 1,400 metres the trip, Jason. And what was your first reaction when you saw the 240 about Rosewood?
I think she's justified as being the favourite. It's getting pretty short, but look, she beat a lot of these last start convincingly and is pretty much no worse off. So, you know, she gets similar conditions. So if you were to price up her last start win over Leeds and Platinum Command, I'd say that you'd come up with that price, you know. Yep. So you've got Taurus and that's added there.
Exactly. The problem is this speed map. It is just such a tricky speed map. There's no clear leader in the race. There's even speed. Everything in the race could actually if they wanted to could be somewhere near handy to them. So it's really wishy-washy, and for that reason, you know, the 240 about to Rosewood is probably her mark. You know, wouldn't want to be taking much shorter than that, but. Yeah, who's to say, you know? But on her form, she's got to be a very good chance in this.
Yeah, this race will be a good form reference with Rosewood hitting the line really well.
Well, this is sort of a situation where she was left flat-footed just a bit. They didn't go that hard early, and it might be a case of the race tomorrow being run similarly, which again should suit Rosewood. Yeah. So Lisa Allpress tagged the back of Platinum Command, stayed on her and managed to draw clear. So yeah, you add in Taurus to the race to give it maybe a little bit more depth. Manhattan Street has a little bit about him, but really you reprice that race and she's the favourite at a similar sort of price.
Just on that race, Platinum Command's run was pretty good, and she was really good 2 starts back, beat Art Deco, who is a high-class winter galloper, and there is a swing in the weights, just a kilogram towards Platinum Command. The other key race is at the Wanganui, the Ag Challenge Stakes race, and that's where we're getting the real push towards Rosewood, because, you know, while you say Taurus is in here from this race, there's a 4 kilogram swing to Rosewood here, and she's down on the inside and seemingly the worst of the ground.
Really good run to fight on, and we'll see Tomalila and She's Poppy, 2 very progressive horses. There's basically nothing over this bunch at the 100. There's 7 of them there, separated by a length and a half at the 100 and a little bit more with some interference, sort of allowing them to stretch out. But yeah, the inside at Wanganui, you know that's not as good as the outside. So you've got to add a little bit on. So excellent run with the weight swings, isn't it?
Yeah, Taurus is going well too, and you know he's just a reliable winter performer. He seems to be ageless. What is he, rising 10? Yet he's still producing runs of that sort of quality.
So a little bit of a freshen up for Taurus, and he's what the Opunaki Cup is going to be, the race that he's going to be peaking for. So he's not going to be at 100, but look, you just wouldn't be surprised if he showed up and was there in the fight for the finish.
Okay, so we'll sum the race up. Obviously, we've got ourselves a bit of a tricky speed map to work with, Aidan. How are we going to make some coin?
Yeah, I'm around Rosewood. I do like her. I think she's a quality horse. She's Group 3 placed at Awapuni in the past as well. So I've got her on top. But so instead of going a 20-year win on her, I'm going to throw it into the last race where I do like a few in there. So 1, 6, 7, 12 and 13. If you don't want to play the double, chuck the 20-year win on Rosewood. But at 240, she's tight enough, so I'm prepared to sort of try and just boost that price a little bit by playing the double.
Looking forward to seeing what you do with your bank this week, Aidan. He's got nearly 1,200 left. I would have thought that he would have put at least 400 in for us this week, but anyway, Jason?
Rosewood's a great bet for me. She's one of the bets of the weekend. I have a lot of respect for Manhattan Street under the conditions of the race. Has met Rosewood a couple of times before and beaten her. But Rosewood is in form, is fit enough. I think she'll just win.
Okay, all right, we'll leave that there and continue our previews next with IRT. You're here with the first call. See you shortly.
Everybody hoping they could be the one. I was born to run, I was born for this.
Monarch Chimes is on top for me here, winner of 3 or 4 hurdles so far.
I think he's a special jumper and I think he wins the race.
Coming down to the last now, they rose together. Monarch Chimes in front and now gets away from No Change. And down to the line, Monarch Chimes, brilliant back, and NZ wins and wins well.
I was super impressed by Not Usual Heart last time. I looked at that run, did the video and thought, I'm going to be on her no matter what next time.
But Not Usual Heart, how easy was this for the bearded one? Not Usual Heart wins it.
There were a lot of chances in the last race, but I'm going to go with Major Tom.
I'm going to stick with Major Tom here.
But it's Major Tom. Major Tom wins the last. He goes back to back.
I do what it takes. Out of fear of being typical. Looking at my body feeling miserable. Always hanging on to the visual.
Yes, some good results at Uruakaka last week. G. Mulini would have been a little bit costly, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Not Usual Heart was good though.
She looks like a filly with a lot of upside, and yeah, see we've got the calculation board in the back there, Matt. Geez, it must have taken you a long time to really get into the nitty gritty there.
Yeah, it was. I've got no idea what any of it means, but anyway, we're going to carry on and look at our next race on the card, and we're looking for the Kevin Myers trained Wazuzu to keep on going. He's really found his happy spot in terms of his races and what sort of track conditions he likes. He cops 2,100 metres on a heavy 11. He's $3.130. Rosie's got a soft spot for this horse, Aidan, and geez, going well.
Yeah, he really is. Wazuzu against Sylvester is a really interesting battle. There was only, I think, a nose between them last time they met, and there's a 4.5 kilogram swing towards Sylvester. So the $6 about him is an interesting price, but Wazuzu's gone on to another dominant win, so he's in terrific form. Zartan with a bit of money. Love to keep him backed up. I think this will be his 4th race in 4 weeks, basically set over 5 Saturdays, but 4 weeks, 4 races. But he's going okay. He's not out of this for sure.
And Jonathan Park's on as well, $2.10 the place. If you want to spice things up there, and then we're out to $9 for the likes of Jump for Joy. And Hamiltonian's an interesting runner with Lisa Allpress on the each way here. How did you sort of see it in the market?
He's just been going through the motions. He's capable, but yeah. I think $9 is a fair price, and maybe even on the short side. He's well capable of winning, but I don't know whether I'll be taking that money.
He's one of those horses that you back on his capabilities. Let's go back and have a look at Wazuzu and what he did to them last start. In fact, we're going to look at the speed map first.
Yeah, I'll take you through how to do this.
You can talk me through the speed map, and then we'll look at Wazuzu.
It's a tricky barrier draw for Sylvester back here, and that's got to be some sort of concern where but there is obviously these positions up here if they want to be. Zartan to go forward, love to keep in a Nitro Ted, the other key pace factors in the race. St Ransom should be able to slot into a nice spot. Hamiltonian Storm wide, and Wazuzu, he just likes to get back. He gets into his comfort zone and he'll be flying at them late.
Is there enough speed on for Wazuzu?
I think so, just being the testing track conditions, and I thought there was enough speed. How did you sort of see the speed of this one, Jason?
Yeah, I thought there was enough speed as well, although it does depend a little bit on the intent of Madan Singh, Zartan, whether Nitro Ted is punched forward for this race, and also Jonathan Parks, whether he decides to dominate it. But just been so tough, Wazuzu. In saying that, Sylvester hasn't given it away and gets a significant weight swing in his advantage.
He's got a real wet trackers action, hasn't he, Wazuzu? When you take a good look at him, he just keeps on going. We're going to have a look at his other victory. This is back on the 28th of June. Zartan Hamiltonian come out of this race at Waverley. Just picks the path here. Jason, what did you make of Zartan and Hamiltonian out of this?
I just don't know how they turned around on Wazuzu. How can they beat Wazuzu on this? So I know there's, again, we talk about sort of weight swings, but this is such a dominating performance.
Yeah, it's only 2.5 lengths, the swing that Zartan's getting here. Zartan was okay, let's take nothing away from it, but that's the performance you want to see from Wazuzu after a narrow win over Sylvester, and with a 4.5 kilogram swing between them. You want to see that he's really going on, and he does look as though he's improved. He's been one of the real finds. I think you picked up on him earlier in the season, didn't you, Matt? That he does seem to be a really progressive horse, and he's going on the right way. He's won 5 of 20, handles any track conditions. That weight swing against Sylvester is one of the key sort of facets of this race for mine, but just the way he won last time out, I'm prepared to stay with him, even though it does worry me just the turn in his weights.
The rise in the weights, does it concern you at all?
It does. I've actually gone outside of that form line. I've gone outside of the Wazuzu form line, and I've found a horse that I think is at very good value in Jump for Joy. She's 4th up. Last preparation, slightly different time of the year, but last preparation she was really firing 3rd and 4th up and over 2,100, 2,200 metres. So she's getting over a trip that I think she likes. I really like that last start performance against open handicappers at Awapuni. She was asked to go at the 850, sustained a really big run to about the 300 and battled on, stayed on, flattened out okay. Alongside her, closer to the inside, was Ringo and also Admiral. That's really good form for this rating, 75. Well, it's an 85, but 75 basically grade of race. So I think that she's a really good each-way price at $9 and $2.70 Jump for Joy.
All right, we'll take a wee
What did you price her at? Did you have a sort of significantly shorter
I did.
or not?
I'll pull up my market. It was about, where are we here? $5.50.
Wow.
So I priced her up alongside Wazuzu.
Really?
Yeah. So she's to me the over in the race. So that's just the line that I got off that. I was really impressed with that run. Like, you look at it and you say, oh, well, she's run a well-beaten 5th behind Rosewood. I think Rosewood's bringing some of the better form lines of the winter to the table, and she's going to be suited up and ground, suited 4th up, no weight on her back, should sit back.
Left field selection, but geez, that's a beauty. We'll
hoping it's
closely.
A beauty. Yeah. I'm hoping it's a beauty because I'm on at 9. It hasn't moved, but we'll see.
I couldn't find her.
Okay.
So
fair, I like it. So what are you with?
I'm with Wazuzu,
Yep.
but it's a no bet race for me.
Well, LIR will be looking to go back-to-back on one of the later races on the card at Awapuni. We head to race 8 on the card. The Baker Forsman trained runner is $4. $6 for Dares up the top. Comes up with a bit of a wrap. We've got Typical there for Bridget Grills. Great to see her back running in the country. She'll head to the Central Districts on Saturday. And one of your old favourites, Dark Princess Aidan Rodley.
Yeah,
You'll be
You've got a
going
couple
again.
of friends in this
Yeah,
race,
I
don't
do,
you? Like,
I do.
when you've got that many friends, how do you
It's a
choose
couple of
between
my
them?
couple of my best
You're
bets
going to
from-
annoy one
I
of
think
them.
even Gorbachev might have been on your charge. at some time.
I don't think Gorbachev. No. I was pretty keen about the chances of Dark Princess again, and I thought $6 was a backable price. But what do you do when you've got a less friends? You just cover a few of them. You kick for touch a little bit. I think that's what you do. We'll see what I do shortly. Anyhow, here's
Depends
the
what you
speed
have
man.
to choose them for.
Most importantly, LIR draws barrier 1 here. At this stage of the day, what are you expecting to have
Yeah, I
unfolded?
don't think it's too good. We highlighted last week the pitfalls of drawing barrier 1 with the horse of Tony Gillies. Name just escapes. Woodsman, exactly. So drawn on the inside, and you can't get out. It is a tricky draw for LIR. Lisa Allpress is going to be charged with finding the best ground at some point during the race. I don't mind it too much in the fact that you're going to get an economical trip, but there is pressure here. It's like we're seeing from those last couple of races from Ruakaka, and it's been the same the last 2 weeks, hasn't it? Last 2 meetings where big fields, results in pressure, and it means that those sweepers are definitely getting their chance, and I think it's going to be much the same in this race. Really competitive race to end the program, and I thought one of the races of the day.
Okay, well, let's take a look at LIR winning at Harwood, her last start. Looking to go 3 in a row is LIR. Seems to be thriving here. She is coming wide, the Chestnut and the Baker Forsman team. She's pretty genuine, this horse, Jason. She puts the ears back and just keeps running through the line.
This is a really good win. And, you know, you're drawing away from Hand It to Jonesy, who I think probably could have won last week. Just nothing went right in the running for Hand It to Jonesy, and she's just put 3 lengths on him. So, you know, that was a 2.5 lengths, I think, officially, but could have put more. That's a really strong win.
It's a soft
She's in
win
great
too.
form.
Yeah. The one thing is 3-year-old fillies going through the grades at this time of the year. It's not easy. I know that's coming towards, you know, she's nearly a 4-year-old, but it's still not easy for a 3-year-old filly going through the grades, especially.
I think what really worries is the draw by that stage of the day, because the rail's in the true position again. You'd expect they'll be coming off the rail and coming centre track. So, you know, Lisa Allpress is one of the best jockeys going around, so you're putting your faith in her. But here's another one of your mates.
Yeah, she's one of my close mates too, Dark Princess. I really, really like this mare. She was terrific winning this day last year, as I'd made her the best bet as well. Yeah,
Circle of Trust.
Exactly. Rosie Meyer's doing a terrific job on her last time. She stays aboard, and yeah, she just doesn't know how to run a bad race. She's so genuine, and I expect her to be very hard to beat.
Well, she's got totals. She's got a great draw for a swooper, hasn't she? You know, like she's already going to be probably in the part of the track where you want to be from 12, as opposed to LAR.
I think she can get cover, and even if there's a 3-wide line, she can get cover, and she'll be making her run at the right sort of time and in the right ground. She's going to be tough to bowl.
And saying that, at Trentham she did sit a bit closer to the speed, didn't she? But I expect probably midfield or back with some cover is what Rosie's aim will be.
Yeah.
Anything else in the field you can make a case for?
Oh, Des. Des has been really genuine, and I think the more racing he has this preparation, given that he's had unsoundness issues, stands him in good stead. Interestingly, the sidewinkers come off.
He's dropping back from 21 to 15.54, and I think that's one of the reasons why the sidewinkers are perhaps coming off. But that race was a race where the swoopers were definitely favoured. He's been close to the speed and stuck on, I thought, really well. He's done very little wrong. He's won 3 of 6. He's got the best strike rate of any horse in the field. I thought he was a genuine contender in the race. I wouldn't be writing off Ticket to Ride. I'm getting a decent line on that Ruakaka form. I thought Ticket to Ride's last start run at Ruakaka was excellent. The win before that was tenacious. You know, she really wanted to find the line. She looks as though she's a mare that's starting to turn the corner. I give her an upset chance in the race as well. And I tell you what, Bransom's not out of it. I know you tipped this horse out last time, or you certainly gave it a bit of a push. Both runs back have been good, and heavy track conditions ideal. I wouldn't be riding that horse off either.
Could you make a case for Typical?
Yes, for sure. Falls into that category of probably needing to find a little bit, but that's, you know, beating or getting beaten by switch in time. That's not sort of bad form either. There are, as Aidan mentioned, a decent half dozen plus horses. A very competitive race. Look, LIR is the horse that I'd have a little bank bet on. I would say don't bet it now. I'd say you'll probably get better on the day on the tote. I think she's open $4. I think that's pretty short, but I just like her as a strong chance in the race.
I'm pretty sure, it's raced in the colours of the late Lawrence Redshaw, LIR. His initials, I'm pretty sure it's named after him, and yeah, she looks like a promising horse. But yeah, it's a tough assignment.
Okay, thanks, gents. Stay with us here on the first call with IRT. We're heading to Te Rapa next.
Avantage ranged up, Avantage in front, El Hessa, she's a thief, Avantage, game, set, match, Avantage wins the Karaka Million.
But Avantage with a great turn of foot, put 3 or 4 lengths, Melt runs on, but down to the line, and Avantage, a big winner.
Yes, Horse of the Year. Well, it's all the chat now with the nominees coming out yesterday. nzracing.co.nz for all of that information. 2-year-olds. Avantage obviously there. Is there anything to take her on?
Oh, I think Sword of Osman is the most likely, but she's pretty special. Avantage and what we saw. She could, with a bit of luck, be the winner of the 2 Group 1 races. But the draw just sort of scuppered those chances, not winning the Sistema but running a cracking second, which led to winning the Manawatu Sires, as we saw in that clip. So yeah, she'll be hard to beat. We'll have a good chat about that on our social media segment for the 2-year-old Horse of the Year. Hashtag it, maybe. HOTY18.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Horse
Not too complicated. J-Swap contract is 1,600 out of Te Rapa. Tell me about track conditions there, Jason Dunn, and what we are going to expect.
Well, it's been fine in Hamilton, and the expectation is should be okay. So it'll.
There's been a bit of rain coming, isn't there? tomorrow.
Is there rain coming?
So,
Is there? Okay, I better get. Oh, later in the Arvo. Okay.
As long as it's fine for the Chiefs game.
I thought we might miss the rain, but some of the rain has been pushed back a little bit, particularly in Albany. Hopefully it doesn't. But the track will be holding anyway around the slow 7-8 level. I know it's slow 8.
It has been a really tricky track in the last couple of meetings just to get a confident line on. So I think once again it's just going to be a case where you just look at those first couple of races, assess them, and then sort of play from there.
Well, our first race we're looking at is the third on the card, so hopefully after a couple of races we get a bit of an idea about patterns with the J-Swap contract is 1600. This one an open handicap, and we've got 360 for Rock to Bank and Dougie, 550 for the Kipling Girl and Admiral. Bit of weight differential here, Jason Tan. Your thoughts on the market?
Yeah, the rail in the true position, by the way, so nothing is mid-May when it's back in the true, so we'll change the pattern a little bit. Dougie and Rock to Bank share in favour. Rock to Bank was really good last time, wasn't he? So, yeah, I thought he might have had been narrowly favoured in that market, but I don't have much between them, in fairness.
He is also in the first race, but no rider declared in the first race. I did try and get hold of Chris Wood earlier on, but just unable to reach him. So the steer is from the jockey booking that Rock the Bank will start here. Went obviously very close down to the Moonlight and Deals and Heels last time. Likely to get into a good spot here as well. Waipipi Lad there with a wider draw, just don't know. I think Dougie from the draw is probably obliged to go back with good speed around Admiral. He's Cavalier. Just about every horse in this race likes to race on the pace. So once again, there's a couple of races this weekend where it's going to come down to jockey intent. You know, who wants to be there most of all. Obviously, we've got horses with decent speed here, so that's an advantage. But if jockeys want to be on speed at Te Rapa, and especially in a race like that when all of them have got, speed influence.
Well, what we saw last week when we mapped the sprint at Ruakaka with Southern Icon in there, the map said that there was going to be genuine speed. And then a number of jockeys decided that they would take sets. Well, Southern Icon was sort of slowly away, ended up 3 back the fence. We thought that Spider might press, He's Cavalier might press, Southern Icon, Charlie Farley, Silver Sassanov, and in the end there was no speed in that race at all. It became a dead set sprint home. So that map to have a lot of speed, in reality it ended up not being the case, so I wonder what's going to happen here.
Yeah, but we did make the point in that race, and it was important that Southern Icon could be taken on for speed. It was certainly, it couldn't get to the front early, and because they didn't go any speed, that horse was over racing 3 back the fence, so had no real chance from there. So those maps are really important, just as guides. Obviously, we're not going to get them right all the time, but you can certainly start sort of formulating plans.
It was certainly no knock on the map at all, because that's how it mapped, but everyone sort of sees the map and they change and say, oh, well, maybe we don't want to get caught in a speed battle, so we'll pull out of it. But, there's real opportunities to take races by the scruff, by someone who's sort of brave. But
let's go and have a look at Dougie's last start effort, and what did you take out of this one, Aidan, in terms of going forward?
I thought this was a really special performance. Here's a 4-year-old who's going to be third up into this race, hit the line strongest of all. I know it ended up being a sprint home and was out-sprinted by a very good horse, Vinevale, who's gone on and then won again at Ruakaka. But Dougie still produced the fastest last 600 of this race, and third up now, I think it's going to be awfully hard to beat. It was a terrific performance by a horse who's obviously in very good form. Yet to race at Te Rapa might be a little bit of an issue there, but on what we've seen in these last couple of runs, here's a horse who's going into the race in really good form.
Here's Rock to Bank finishing into third. On another note, we probably need to get a winning post at Ruakaka too, just to make things a little bit easier there. Here's Rock to Bank finishing into third, Jason Tan. This is over 1,400 metres. How do you see him placed on Saturday?
Well, look, Deals and Heels, under the Moonlight, this is really good form. They draw clear of the rest of them. These 3, they fight it out. It's excellent form. I think between it and Dougie, they're the 2 runners that deserve leading billing in the race. Bookmakers have them as that, and maybe they deserve combined to be a fraction shorter.
He was terrific 2 starts back as well, wasn't he? He was just a dominant winner that day. Was given, a decent test in good company last time, and he proved he was right up to it. So he's a contender in this race for sure. I've got him on top.
Jason, bets?
I like the Quinella with Rock the Bank and also Dougie, so I'd Quinella those two up. But a little bit of respect, or not a little bit, I have respect for the Kipling girl given Aiden's map, because if it does play out that there's genuine speed, she can sit off it and be one of those ones that avoids working early and can go over the top of them if they decide to sit on it.
I totally agree. She got no clear run last time out at Ruakaka. There was in behind. I thought that with an unimpeded run, she could have won that race. Now, so that was the Green Cast race, which is actually the same race as his Cavalier, Waipipi led, and Nailed It come out of. I'm big on the Kipling girl. I had the horse on top last time out. I've got it in third selection here. But I think she could well have won the last race. I really like her. I think she's close to a win.
All right, we'll go one more time with her then. All the best to you with that one. Over we go to True Colours Children's Health Trust over 1,400 metres. This is race number 1 at Te Rapa. At this stage of the day, we will have no idea about race patterns. Ambitious winner, 450, equal favourite here with Just a Canter. Sam Spratt takes the ride, 3 kilos between those. Temple Tiger, who was good last start at $5.50 and $1.95. Run a pretty heady field close, didn't it, Jason, Temple Tiger?
Yes, Sleeping Beauty at Tauranga, Temple Tiger, and it wasn't a surprise, I don't think, for many that had been sort of tracking him that he delivered that. Again, quite different track conditions that will be presented for Temple Tiger, or a different type of track, full stop, you know, the sandy Te Rapa track as opposed to that heavy 11 at Tauranga. Look, Wooden Edge interested me, given that Darren Dennis will ride and 3 kilos will come off his back. He's one of those horses that can be very in and out, does need things to go his way, needs to get travelling okay in the run, and if he does, then he can finish on. But between him and Just a Canter, those are the 2 horses that I'm looking at for the first.
He was a little bit disappointing first up though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he didn't run on as well as possibly he could have, but he has sort of turned his form around off just fair runs in the past, and he comes into it quite nicely. He's second up, he's 1 second up before. There are a few ticks that I'm prepared to forgive the last start.
Yeah, his troll leading into that was good. He drops 5 kilograms. Obviously, Just a Canter beat him home there, drops 4.
Just a Canter
so
I've got on top, and then I've got Wooden Edge.
Yeah, 1 kilogram. I think there's five lengths between them last time out, and also out of that, I think there was another one out of that same race, or certainly out of the form lines anyhow. So, but Just a Canter's okay. The hoof pads stay on that galloper.
How do you see them settling?
I had Temple Tiger leading the race for sure. Rock the Bank's obviously drawn 9, probably starts in race 3. That was drawn wide, with just in behind the Spade, Irish Mist, and the 10 as well, Red Tsunami.
Yep, okay. Let's have a look at Irish Mist winning at Tauranga. This was on a heavy 11 over 1,400 metres. Was a big effort on this day. This is its last start, Jason. Stuck to the inside on a track that it's hard to make ground and just had too many guns late in the piece.
Yeah, you summed it up nicely there. It wasn't easy to make ground away from the rail on this day, was it? And Andrew Calder just got this spot on. One of the pace influences in the race, Stradivarius, probably will go forward. So, you know, should get every opportunity. And with it being, you know, race 1, rail and true position, getting first use of that inside could skip along and be hard to catch.
Okay, what did you take of that race, Aidan?
Yeah, obviously, pretty handy. We'll see Pasabache go around later in the card as well. But yeah, it's going to be just a different dynamic, isn't it?
Quite a different track, right? So.
Yeah, for sure. Here's Just a Canter's 4th place in 2 starts back on the track. Now, this is the magic of the Sun race as well. So we see, I think Stradivarius running 3rd in this race. There's a horse in the red colours finishing 3rd. And also we see Wooden Edge finishing further down the back. That's in the gold colours.
Basically.
Yeah, isn't it? So, yeah, not bad from both these horses. Obviously, Just a Canter's going really well. Drops 4 kilograms from this run. With Stradivarius dropping 1.5 kilograms. So 2.5 kilograms swing, that should be enough to give Just a Canter probably the better chance of the
And I wonder about the extra 200 for Stradivarius, whether it's quite what he's most effective over.
He's won 2 of 37. It's an ordinary strike rate.
But 1,200, I sort of get the feeling that there's more as go than 14 as well. But Temple Tiger, pretty sweet form this, behind Sleeping Beauty. And versatile enough as well. Temple Tiger is one on sort of dead tracks and heavy tracks, so should have no issues coping with that Te Rapa track.
Well, this is a Sleeping Beauty race, right? So this horse is going up 3.5 kilograms from that, where we saw Just a Canter finishing third and comes in on the same weight. So that weight swing should mean that Just a Canter is able to turn the tables on Temple Tiger, especially if Stradivarius does go forward and sort of push that speed against Temple Tiger.
The issue with Just a Canter it can often be just, you know, how the races run and where he gets to, because generally he's sort of back in the running, whereas Temple Tiger might have that advantage, even though he's drawn awkwardly to sit sort of 2-3 pairs closer in the running.
Yeah.
So,
and being on speed in the first race at Te Rapa is generally an advantage.
Yeah. So you know there is a big weight swing against Temple Tiger, but yeah, Just a Canter's pattern can be a frustrating one. But I've no doubt that he's the horse to beat for me, the 7.
Okay, so summing it up, Just a Canter for you. For you?
I had Rock the Bank on top. Obviously, it's probably not going to run in this race, but between Just a Canter and Ambitious Winner, I wouldn't be ruling out. Here's a horse who's won 4 of 15 runs second. So it's either run first or second in 2/3 of the start. Missed it at Ruakaka last time out. You forgive that, and the horse has got the best form in the race.
Race number 7 at Te Rapa is the United Cleaning Services, rating 85 over 2,100 metres. With Jochen Rindt up the top of the book, $5, but Rodrigo looking to continue in his very good form, 165, and you want more at $7. Short enough, Jason, or about where you sort of thought he'd be?
I thought it was short enough. I sort of couldn't get warm backing him at $1.65, to be fair. It's a good things price, and he looks a good bet, but you know what? Jochen Rindt fought back and beat him last time they met on the track. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's a race that has a number of horses that are sort of battling and not at their best form.
Yeah, that day that you speak about, they finished basically alongside each other on the line, and there is a kilogram swing towards Rodrigo, but the speed map says that Jochen Rindt, for the first time this preparation, should be able to get an uncontested lead, and we know that's when he's at his best, is when he is out in front without... they might sort of test him a little bit with Rodrigo potentially. Volante's another pace influence in the race, but yeah, it's an interesting race, and you can see here Jochen Rindt, he's not on speed this day, and he does fight.
Well, the key for him, and I think Terry Wen has mentioned it before, he's a different horse on the rail.
On the rail, for sure.
He now rolls down to the rail and he fights.
Yeah.
He said all 7 of his wins, incidentally, have come on the rail. Now, I'm counting the win as a maiden on an off-track going right-handed when he went to the outside rail in the straight. So it was off the inside rail, but in the end he had the outside rail to guide him and he punched away to win his maiden. So the rail has been the common factor in every one of his good performances. So if he finds it and can be rated by Sam Spratt, then he'll fight. And he has had some real big margin wins at Te Rapa on the rail there. So, look, you know, I've been with Rodrigo. He's been costly in some respects the last couple of starts. But I just couldn't get too warm at $1.65. I had a small play on Jochen Rindt, but you know, you've got You Want More, who at her best can win the race, but I just can't. I haven't seen that she is at the moment.
Yeah,
Jochen Rindt won a jumping trial the other day, I think, didn't he? Yeah.
A couple of them in her have gone around in jumping trials. Stormy the Tower, who was second in a Rotoro Cup, was third in the jumps trial. He's Dan was a jumps trial winner as well. So there's a few in there. Don't forget Rough Cut, who I thought fought really well at Ruakaka with that third placing last time out. He was a horse who was going well and slotted in one off the fence and then got hampered about 900 metres out, was forced 3 wide at that point, then had to go up and sit outside the leader. So did a whole lot of work in running, was a rating 75 with 3 starts back, and I thought was a rough play in the race. But I've gone with Rodrigo. The price, though, I agree with Jason, is pretty skinny.
The Graham Lord's got Volante racing really well also, so we'll get one of the runs of the race. Aidan's map has him in the gun run. So, you know, 3 kilo claim, but yeah, I've had a small play on Jochen Rindt, and, you know, I don't really want to be going too heavy in the race against Rodrigo because, I think it's a race for him to win an 85 over 2,100. But, yeah, I've gone with Jochen Rindt.
Aidan?
I'm going to go Rodrigo, but it's no bet race for me.
All right, $1.65, pretty short. Best bets time for the week. Well, you're going pretty good, Aidan.
Yeah, I'm going to go
Not going to plug you too much, but...
to the first from Awapuni on Saturday. I'm going to go with Tudor Class, who was terrific, winning last time out at Trentham. Beat home Karpo, who's a rival here. Go back 2 starts and was not far behind London Express, who came out and won the Castledown Stakes, bringing the right sort of form. There are some horses in there, such as Mary Ace Manola, who was terrific at the trials as well. In fact, I've gone Rosewood there. I did tell the boys that I had changed back to Tudor Class, so I'm going to go Tudor Class.
Okay, Tudor Class. Jason?
I'll go Rosewood.
Me too.
Rosewood's my bet of the weekend. I also like Cyber Attack in the second race at Te Rapa, the 2-year-old race, as probably my best there. But Rosewood, look, just has so many conditions that are similar to how she's lined up in her last start, and conditions in her favour from a couple of starts ago at Whanganui. So, all things being equal, Rosewood wins.
All right, we'd all decided on these before we came in here this morning as well. I'm going to go with Rosewood too, looking to make it another victory.
Independently.
Independently.
You've got eye grain there as well. So we've got a few graphics that are changing back and forth there.
Oh, eye grain will probably win too.
Eye grain does look good.
Yeah. Okay.
So which one are you going for? Just so we're going to clarify.
Well, either or. We've got see for next week. We've got a highlight for either one. If Eye Grain wins, we can put that up. If Rosewood wins, we can put this up. Let's have a look at the totals.
There's
on
an issue in our
-470.
systems. There's an issue in our systems.
An issue.
We'll
$280 return for you last week, Aidan.
Yep.
590.
Having a lucky run, but there was going on the special, the TSC special. Got on to Monarch Child. Maybe I should have just backed it to win, but I went for the insurance factor.
I talked to a lot of people about that first call special, and I think that was well received, the 280.
Exactly. I think that they are being really well received when the TAB are giving us maybe just a money back option for a place or for a second, and maybe they could consider doing that with one of ours today as well.
Wish I could get money back for every bet that I take, but that's not how life works. Stay with us here on the first call. We'll head to Australia next.
It's all Nature Strip. It accelerates inside the 100 metres and is going to come clear here for Damien Lane. Impressive with the 60.5 bolts in.
A couple of Everest spots still to come, and plenty of talk around who will pick up Bridgell, the defending champion in the Everest. Let's head to our friends at racing.com though and see what's happening this weekend in Victoria.
Thanks, guys. Great to be here on the first call. Now, looking forward to finals day at Flemington on Saturday. It's a terrific card, and we've got 9 competitive races. No surprise that Darren Weir, our leading trainer here in Victoria, has an extremely strong hand, highlighted by the fact that Nature Strip goes around, one of the most exciting sprinters we've got here in Victoria, if not the country. He's a 3-year-old with untapped ability, and he gets to 1,200 metres down the straight. He was dynamic over 1,100 metres last time out. Look, he's $1.50. He's going to be hard to beat, but 2 tips and 2 horses that I'm keen on. Both of them also come from the Darren Weir stable. One of those comes up in race number 2. It is 60s Groove. On the quick backup, was narrowly beaten last weekend at Caulfield. That was at 1,800 metres. It gets to the 2,000 and it looks ready to win now. Of all the favourites on the day outside of Nature Strip, I think this is the one that's going to be awfully hard to beat. The other runner that I'm keen on from the Weir stable is Mount Kilcoy, which goes around in race number 4. If you look at a replay of its last start, it didn't get any luck whatsoever in the home straight. If it had a clear passage, I think it's arguable that it would have won the race. Meets basically the same field again this weekend over the 1,600 metres. With the rail going back to the true position, there should be a lot of room in the straight. So my 2 best on Saturday at Flemington for finals day are race number 2, 60s Groove, and race number 4, Mount Kilcoy.
Okay, looking forward to the racing in Victoria. Nature Strip, one would imagine plenty of multis running through it. South we go to Sydney and link up with our friends at Formline.
Hello New Zealand, we're racing at Randwick on Saturday and we're going to be on a heavy, hopefully a soft track, and the boys are ready to go with their best bets here tonight. First of all, Paul Joyce.
Yes, Greg, look, I'm going with Redouble as my best bet for Björn Baker. It's on the 7-day backup, ran a terrific race last week on very similar conditions, and I think it can break through here third up. And my best value, Just Shine, race 7, number 6 for Claire Cunningham. Second up, out to the 1,800, but has had a trial leading into this and trialled super.
All right, Brad Davidson.
Yeah, I agree with Paul. I think Redouble's extremely hard hard to beat. Finally gets to his right distance. She Knows in the last. I think $4 is a really good price. I think she'll start shorter and be hard to beat. And Mizzy in the first, my best roughie of the day.
OK, Randwick, great program coming up, and I hope you back plenty of winners.
Yeah, I'm not great at maths or geometry. Of course, Sydney is north from Melbourne. Thad Taylor, one man who has been north on holiday. How was the trip away, Thad?
Oh, yeah, pleasure to be back, Matthew. You can see my Mediterranean tan, so I hardly needed the makeup kit today.
Mediterranean tan, oh, that's fantastic.
If anything, I thought you'd bleached your beard.
Just natural sunlight, Jason Blair, looking fantastic.
Welcome home.
How were things when you walked back into the office on Monday, Thad? What did you think of Stephen's special last week on Monarch Chimes?
I heard you boys have been on a tear since I've been away, and I'm back to pour some cold water on things.
$2.80. Was it well received, though, from what you've heard?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. I think and you know, when you get a bit of momentum with these specials as well, guys, you know, people that have reinvested prior weeks want to be on again, and I think that's happening as well. So, yeah, I'm sure the roll will continue when we touch on that special in a minute or so.
Is there anything that you've seen, a flood for money coming in the last 24 hours?
Yeah, probably the one that I do need to touch on is Dougie there in the Open 1600 at Te Rapa. He was withdrawn from the Winter Cup during the week with nominations, and I think plans afoot for Australia with him, so he'd want to be winning tomorrow. Dougie, we had 3,000 at 380 as soon as we opened, into $3.60 now, joint favourite with Rock to Bank. And a very interesting betting battle ensuing in the last at Awapuni. LIR, winner of 3 of its last 4 for the Baker team, up against Dark Princess. LIR $4, Dark Princess $6. All the early money with the Baker runner, Lisa Allpress, I think drawn 1 as well. But yeah, when I got in this morning overnight, the Dark Princess fans were out, so it'll be interesting to see how that market shakes out as the day goes on tomorrow.
Yeah, OK, Thad, what about a special for us this week? You did us well last week with the 280 Monarch Chimes, and we come to you with an expectation now, I suppose.
Yeah, sure. I think I've done you a few favours here, guys. Rosewood, absolutely flying at the moment. Winner of 2 of its last 3. $2.40 in final field currently. Option 1, selection 1, $2. I know Jason and Matthew have it on top. Aidan called for this bet, so Rosewood $2. If it runs second, you'll get your money back. Obviously, if it wins, you'll get $2. So, yeah, I think that'll be pretty popular, and yeah, nice little insurance bet, Matt.
I like
Anything
it.
to add, boys?
That's great. You know, we got the money Monarch Chimes last week just with the insurance, and I think again you've been pretty generous. And I think once again we are seeing that type of bet has been pretty popular, hasn't it, Thad?
Yeah, people are really enjoying it, Aidan. So yeah, you can double up your Monarch Chimes money there on Rosewood tomorrow on option 1, selection 1. Easy as that. No tricks, guys. No tricks.
No. All right. Let's hope that this time next week we're standing here and we've had another success, Thad. That would be great.
I wish you all the best, lads.
All right, same to you. Have a good weekend. $2 the price around Rosewood. Not as good as $2.80 last week, but obviously it's going to be a...
I don't know whether to love him or loathe him, Thad. He's very likeable, but you can just see that he came back to a little bit of blood on the floor, high fly.
It's great to have him back too. He's been a really important part of our...
He does look refreshed as well.
Yeah.
I think a fair few spas in the south of France.
He's sharper now. I want $30 of that special as well. Can you get that added to my bank bets as well, if that's right?
Yeah, good as gold. I'll just phone a friend about that. Shall we talk about what we're going to do with money this week? I've got $11 left.
11?
Yeah.
Are you going to spend it all, or are you going to just spread it out over the last 3 weeks?
Well, what do? You get desperate. You're just going to have to go for a multi. Do you want to start us away, Jason?
I would start with a 2-piece quarter pack. But
no, that's $12.
Oh, shoot, you're still going to have to just stand outside and ask for a buck.
So generous. So generous.
At least that'll get you fed for the weekend. Cyber attack at Te Rapa with Rock to Bank and Dougie. Laclimation and iGrain are 2 German imports with Robert Prescott stable. Now, I really like the trial of iGrain. If she is able to bring a level of form over a short trip, I get that she's over a short trip, but if she can bring a level of form that she showed in Germany where she was just behind a subsequent Group 1 winner, and she beat home Podrick in that trial, who's gone on to win an 85, then shoot, I think she's an each-way bet. Jochen Rindt with Rodrigo, and then Replica in the last race at Te Rapa, I think will relish stepping up in ground. Jump for Joy, each way at Awapuni. Rosewood and LIR, a little bit of a hero or fool Jump for Joy, but she looks to be racing well for me. And then a little multi, Cyber Attack into Rosewood for 25, total spend 2. 50.
What do you think about the $2.40 a win or $2 back for the the consolation prize money back?
Yeah, really good option for people that want to have that insurance. I've got to say playing blackjack, I'm not a fan of insuring, but I know that plenty of people are. So if that's your way, it's obviously very popular. So I can't argue with that.
I'm not a fan of the insurance with blackjack, but I do like to play a little bit conservative with my TAB money. So I am going to be very conservative this week, much to the derision of these boys before the show. Race 4, 5 each way on.
It's back.
Voracious. Well, around about a $9 prize.
We need a bit of M&M here.
Yeah, so
Play 6 is back.
Play 6. So I'm looking for multiples coming in early and just really increasing that percentage towards the end. And we're looking forward to play 6. And you boys deride me for this.
Well, you know,
I'm very profitable. I'm profitable on the TSC.
I think full credit for your profitability, but you've got to the front, you've dropped anchor, and the Stipes need to have a word to you in the room saying you shouldn't be doing that. It's unsafe.
Yes.
So
that's 200 easing the pace.
Just dropped anchor straight away.
I'm just trying to protect my lead. I know where I stand.
You've built up a whole new following and you're throwing out like
$20
a play 6.
$2 class. I'm going to move on. Rosewood, $4 into the double. 1, 6, 7, 12 and 13. Remember, you've got that insurance factor of a concession as well. And race 8, $4 box Quinella. 1, 6, 7, 12 and 13. Those same numbers there. $120, which does include my bet on the special on Rosewood.
And does mean that you sit above $1,000 no matter what.
At the end of this week. That is a key part of my betting.
No, you're not bad.
Well, how about Stewie Lang? He gave us marbles last week.
Yep, he did.
Stewie, so what's he done this week?
What has he done?
Let's have a look. We can have a look at Stew's ones. He's taking a $15 percentage trifecta in race 1 at Te Rapa with ambitious winner to run first, second and third.
The roving banker, I like
4,
that.
5, 7 and 9. Yeah, it's not bad. $50 box trifecta race number 3, 3, 4, 6 and 7. He likes Ivy's Court in race 5 and a $10 box to Quinella in race 5 there, 3, 4, 5 and 15. tab.co.nz/punters lounge, you'll find all of this information. Awapuni each way on Mr. Cool Boy, 50 to win, ticket to ride, and he's taking a trifecta around that runner. Then a multi at Awapuni, back in a flash, Leaf and Rosewood, and he's spent $350.
I like what he's doing
more like
there.
it.
Yeah.
If he lobs, there's a chance, A-Rod, that your lead is not as protected as
And there's a couple of horses I do like there. Ambitious Winner and Ticket to Ride, horses that I both do like in there as well. So, yeah, nicely done, Stu. And,
are you nervous? Do you feel like a sitting duck?
To be fair, I'm protecting my lead. If I lose it, I lose it. But that's why I'm playing it.
Well, you're a sitting duck if this gets home.
Here we go.
This is getting really desperate.
$11 multi.
This is a shot in the dark. Now, I wouldn't suggest to you at home to bet like this on a serious note because your chances of winning are...
Have you worked out what this is going to return?
Oh, hopefully over $1,000.
Yeah.
Your chances of winning are very slim, but we're going to take a long shot. Cyber Attack, Igrain, Rodrigo. Love to keep him to place because it's around $2. Rosewood to win and LIR to place. If it gets up 11, it'll be the best $11 spend you've ever spent, but...
Well, you're a rough chance of doing it. You've picked out some valid win chances right through there too.
Look, take your $11, add that to it, and go get yourself like a wicked meal or something like that. Like,
I don't
feed
need
yourself.
I don't need it. Clearly, I do not need it. Anyway, thanks for the 20. I will be taking that home. The show's come to an end, gents. It's been good. Looking forward to Saturday. Are you?
I found it a really tricky weekend, and I think that's a reflection of the way I've played this betting-wise, and hopefully we can get a guide from those first few races and find some confidence further down. But I thought it was a tricky weekend on the punt.
It wasn't. It's not straightforward, and that's what happens. Not every weekend you're going to be seeing it like beach balls or anything, but... It's my father's 70th birthday over the weekend.
Happy birthday.
He doesn't watch the show, but I wish him happy birthday anyway. But it's going to be a big weekend measuring...
He could catch it on the Punters Lounge because I think the replay is going to get up there pretty quickly as well. So.
The only thing he watches on his iPad are replays of Game of Thrones. So he's watched season 3 about 18 times.
Well, you can now, on the Punters Lounge, actually just fast forward to that section where you wish him happy birthday. And we can say happy birthday as well, Mr. Tum.
And even take the 20 and chuck that on Rosewood for him as well.
There you
That's
go.
been the first call. Catch us on tab.co.nz, also on Twitter, #TFC. See you next week.